All right, continuing with raising and maintaining a high vibration. Uh, I told myself today I'm going to actually start stating examples and going through examples because I know with the past two talks, a lot of it is just a lot of talks about ideas and explanations, not so much examples, I think. Or I don't know, I feel like I didn't tick the example box enough. So today I hope to get a lot more examples out. But I'm also aware that before I can even start laying out more examples, or uh, while I do lay out more examples, I'm going to be talking about a lot more ideas and deeper thoughts and maybe philosophies, understandings. There's going to be a lot of other jazz involved as well. But hey, that's how we, paint the picture, right? It's not just color. We need lines and details and shapes and objects and shit too. Not just color or not just something in the middle of the portrait. We need some background, foreground, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the difference between a high vibration and low vibration again because I don't know, I feel that's important every time I start a new recording. And I think today I'm just going to touch on like the basic examples for well-being because I don't know if I'll have the energy to go on with more types of examples and stuff. But I will be going on about examples in terms of, or at least an example in terms of low vibration, high vibration. Because I wrote some in my notes, or I wrote an example in my notes. So at least I can talk on that, get prompted by that, and go off from that. But other than the example of a low vibration, high vibration, I'll be giving examples on well-being, especially just the basic things. Well, I'll try to name examples. In my notes, I don't know why I wrote ideas but not specific examples. I think in my head, I was hoping that seeing the idea would prompt an example in my head because, like, I like that. I like it when things are spontaneous, just boom. Like I like that. When I go to a place, yeah, fair. I'm going to a place, but what am I gonna do there? I don't know. I like to see what I feel like doing when I'm there, when I'm actually at the place. I'm that kind of person. So some people find me a bit frustrating to travel with because they're always like, "Oh, what do you want to do? What do you?" And I'm like, "I don't know, whatever. Let's just get there first." And they're like, and there's a lot of people out there. I find it a bit not dull, but they love to prepare everything. They make sure everything's prepared 100%. Everything's scripted and all that. Me, that's not me. I like things when they're not scripted. I'm an improv actor, so when I do my acting, or whenever I get asked to play a part, I know what's on the script and I know what the general flow is, like what the general plot is. But most of the time, I feel best when I'm improvising and I'm just letting things come out spontaneously. If you couldn't tell, that's how I do all my recordings right now. I know eventually, and I might as well say this, eventually when I get all more and more and more recordings out and I can find all the little bits and pieces of information that I prophesize into existence, then I will make more scripted, proper explanations or more scripted chapters and topics so that for the frustrated people out there, they can look up on the index and look at, I want to know this, boom, and find the talk where I talk specifically. But until then, we're just dancing and freestyling to the music, baby. That's how I do it. That, yeah. Look, just deal with it. and enjoy it. If you can learn to enjoy different styles and people's different styles, hey, you're winning in life. All right, so let's make our best attempt to get to the examples of raising and maintaining a high vibration. So, like I said in the previous talks, a high vibration is when your spirit is in a better state where it is more constructive and it's more concerned with growing and making sure everything around grows, or at least what's within your world will grow, and anything that is against your world and is destructive to your world, you make that work so it can grow in itself, or you accept it for what it is, because that too is being high vibrational. It is high vibrational to accept that destruction is just as valid as construction. So do I have a simple term of what high vibration is? I don't know. I guess you're just high vibrational when you're more loving and you're more powerful. That's a good way to, that's actually a good way to explain it. You're high vibrational when you're more powerful and not more deadly. That being deadly or destructive doesn't equate power. When you're power, that means you can create and change and move and grow things. And because you can do that, you also have the easy option to do the complete opposite. Versus people that only know how to be destructive, do they have the capabilities to be constructive? Whereas I know when you have the capabilities to be completely constructive, it's very easy to be destructive. But the other way around, I don't think it's as simple. Well, it can be simple for all you destructive, low vibrational, don't care about anyone else but myself kind of peoples out there, you destructive people. It's actually very easy for you guys to become more constructive, more high vibrational, because just don't be the way you're being. Like, do the opposite of what you'd usually do. Do the thing that doesn't feel beneficial for you because it feels like it's gonna benefit everyone else too much. Be selfless. I think that's one way to see it, because when you're low vibrational, it's completely selfish. It can be you can be selfish in a high vibrational way, but that is not selfishness in its entirety, I don't believe. Because that high vibration will ensure that there is growth. Okay, it's wrong to say you can't be selfish, because you can be high vibrational and selfish. Selfish is not the distinguishing factor. There you go. Yeah. So let's not confuse. Being selfish is not the distinguishing factor of high vibrational, low vibrational. It's more if you have the capability and you have the power and responsibility to elicit growth. Growth? Yeah, just being constructive or deconstructive or destructive. Like, that's the main difference. Anyway, boom. Shit, I need to really get down and define the difference between high vibration, low vibrational. But whatever, when you're low vibrational, you're like a wild, uncivilized animal. Whereas when you're high vibrational, you are a civilized, organized, creative, expansive God. And not just a simple, mundane creature, only concerned with satisfying its own needs. No. You're greater than just that single thing. You are the whole thing now. and your concern, your spirit is about the whole thing. You're connected to the universe because the universe is everything, and you're not just one individual. You're not small-minded. Anyway, the example or the examples. Let me look at my notes. So high vibrational or high frequency versus low frequency. An example. So one example I wrote in my notes. So one of them is in terms of family and siblings and stuff. So I'm hoping this is relatable for most people. Even for those who don't have any siblings, just imagine you got a sibling, or just imagine a friend or something, or your parents. Just imagine the concept of family. Just everyone's very close, immediate relatives. But yeah, in terms of siblings, so the example of a high vibrational family member. Yeah, there we go. Family member. That's the word we should use. The example of a high vibrational family member is one who finds a way for everyone to eat, versus a low frequency family member is one who consumes everything regardless of everyone's detriment. So they're more concerned in making sure they're getting their fill, making sure that they're satisfied, regardless if everyone else is going to starve or not. That's a difference between... That's one clear difference of low vibrational and high vibrational in a specific circumstance. Because when we want to understand low vibrational or high vibrational, it's not like the two separate worlds in a sense. Both forms of frequency, both styles of frequency, of energy, exist in the same world. It just depends on which you wish to embody. Do you want to embody this low vibe or this high vibe? That's one way we can look at it. Because we keep separating and shit, you might lose the idea of what it is. I know we can think of like, hey, that's a group of high vibrational people and that's a group of low vibrational people. There's definitely that, because in the end, you're all part of the same world. You're all part of the same universe. But I'm using these examples in specific circumstances so you can see the difference of what spirit you would like to embody, or how you would like your spirit to be within the certain situations. So yeah, like I said, so the high vibe is one who finds a way for everyone to eat, or who finds a way for others to be nourished. The low vibe is one who consumes everything and is more concerned about them being topped up, regardless if anyone else is topped up or not. You might, if you're low vibe, you might consider like, hey, are they all being topped up? Oh no. You know what's most important? Me first. Me. It's also low vibrational if you're also not about me. So for example, instead of being, oh, I'm the one who has to eat first, it's also low vibrational if you're like, oh, everyone eats first, and if I don't get anything, don't worry. That's also low vibrational. That's very hard to understand. People will argue this, but high vibrational is me and everyone. It's we. Whereas low vibrational is only me or only they. It's not the balance of both oneself and everyone else. So, we can think of it in terms of to ascend to that higher level. It's not about just being concerned with only oneself, only me, and it's not about being concerned with only others. It's about the inclusion of yourself and others together to be a whole, a we, not a me and they, but a we. As in, and I say we as in the word we, like as in inclusive of yourself and others. Yeah. So we. I think that's a good way we can get closer to understanding how to have a better vibration. It might not be the whole we, me, they thing might not completely denote one has a high vibration, because if I go, this is an example. If I go to a place where everyone is all about each other and all that, but I'm more high vibrational than them, and I don't mix in with all them. Like for example, I'll go to I'll talk an example. I go to a party, and then this party though, everyone knows each other. They're all about each other. They're all about themselves. They're all about each other. Like they're all together in a sense. Like, you know, that's a party at a good level of vibration, because, you know, it's now a unified family. But I could come up and still be more high vibrational just in myself, in my spirit, because me as a whole is, I guess, at a more ascended level. And I could maintain my high vibration by not lowering myself to this level. And it's not to be judgmental of other people, like, oh, the high vibe or low vibe, because at the end of the day, high vibration is about ensuring that you are whole in your universe and in your goals and your alignment and your world. Because this party or this community, this sports team might not be what you're aiming for, or they might not have, I'm explaining low vibration. They might not be complete in themselves in its entirety. Like for example, like they all love each other and all that stuff, but at the same time, they might not all be looking after each other's mental health. Like they might still be, I don't know, abusing each other and not allowing each other to grow more intellectually, because they're happy being rugged and simple, which is nothing wrong with that. But their potential to be more growthful in terms of the whole world might not be as great as your potential. Because at the end of the day, we are part of this universe, and the vibration is observed and contrasted in terms of the whole universe. But first, let's work on not just whole universe, just our world for now, before we think of the whole universe. I hope I'm not making too much confusion. Do I need to ensure that I have a higher mentally acute listenership with me? You know what, it doesn't matter, because either way, when you want to listen to me, you'll figure it out. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, hopefully in the future, when I make those easier to follow videos and web pages for you guys, then you guys will enjoy that more, especially when you refuse to ascend your mental acuity to a certain level. Yes, there will be things that are more bite-sized for you, or if it's not your concern to be too literate and hold certain volumes of information at one time. But for now, this is the level I'm at, and I'm not gonna lower my vibration just to get the likes on the internet. No, I just need to get this all out. Anyway, one who is concerned that we all eat, a family member who's concerned that we're all eating, we're all nourished, versus one whose main concern is if they're fed or not, or one whose concern is if everyone eats first, don't worry about me. Because not looking after your own well-being is also low vibrational. Being a martyr in a sense. But this is just a specific example. It's not gonna mean like, oh, now. So what I was trying to say is, yo, don't be like every time it's dinner time, don't think, oh, I'm making sure we all eat, therefore I'm high vibration. No, this is just an example to distinguish. It's that simple act alone is not gonna make you high vibrational. It will, in a sense, make you have a better frequency or vibration in that specific circumstance, especially if you used to be just a greedy, selfish bastard. But now you learned a tip, you heard an example, and now you found one little specific area where you could grow, and hopefully you can expand and extrapolate that into all areas of your life. So you can start thinking, hey, how can I be a more growthful person rather than a selfish, sly dog? I think I'll move into another example before I take us all down another funny rabbit hole. What else did I write? Alright, so a high vibe person is one who encourages and teaches other family members skills or environments. Versus a low vibe is one who doesn't make time to encourage everyone's growth, leaves others behind. Okay, yeah. This is a good one as well. So this is just like that other example. So a high frequency family member encourages growth for everyone, and encourages everyone to develop skills, mindsets, to be in better environments, because now that they have ascended in one way, now they wish to share that ascension with everyone else. Versus the family member who ascends, but they don't make time to encourage their family or their peers to grow with them. They rather keep ascending and leave everyone behind, not bring everyone up with them. Is that low vibe or high vibe? It is. Well, when I think about it, like, yeah, because that selfish person that wants to stay on top and make sure they're on top while everyone stays low. Yeah, I already feel just trying to recognize those energies, and like I already feel like, yo, that's some low vibrational shit. I got way too many low vibrational motherfuckers in my life. Well, they're everywhere. There's nothing we can do about it. But like they stick out like sore thumbs everywhere. You can see them. You see them. I don't want to get too specific right now, but damn, like they're everywhere. You can tell, hey, the selfish, greedy bastard versus, I feel safe around this person. They're gonna look after me. You can easily tell. no matter what environment you go to, whether you go to shop or request a service from a business, or whether you go to a hospital, whether you go to your family's family gathering, or you go to the courts with your basketball team, just everywhere like this, you can tell the ones who are only concerned about raising themselves, and those that it's not that they're concerned about raising everyone else. It's more like when you have a high vibration, you naturally lighten up everyone's day. I think, yeah, maybe that's a better way to understand it. It's not so much about it. In a sense, it is about the we, but it's not like a conscious, like, oh, I'm a we person kind of thing. So I'm going to make sure I do everything we. It's a good way to start and eventually practice so you become more naturally high vibrational to be we concerned. But you can just tell high vibration is when you bring light everywhere. And I mean that figuratively and I guess literally as well. Everyone just feels better because everyone is benefiting from your presence. Everyone's learning. Everyone's learning new ways to think, behave. Everyone is seeing how I was going to say their existence, the way they were doing things before. I was going to say everyone's seeing that the way they were behaving and living was fucked up. And now that this high vibrational person came up, they're really seeing that their ways are fucked up, and this person's showing them a better way. In a nicer way, yeah. It helps those who are in a good position to change and grow. A high vibrational spirit will confront someone to maybe grow or to do better. I think that's what the thing about a high vibration is. It's all about being better and making sure everyone else is better as well. And not better as in just like it's better in a growthful sense, because you can tell when someone's teaching you how to be better in a selfish way, you're not going to feel too good about it. Well, at least me, I never feel good about someone who's teaching me how to be more selfish. It's going to better me maybe in a specific aspect, but the fact that it's going to make me worse in a lot of other aspects, I feel that, and to me it doesn't feel good. I don't agree with it. My body doesn't agree with it. My spirit doesn't agree with it. Versus when it's definitely a high vibrational person I'm interacting with, and their interaction is showing me how to be better in all forms with barely the detriment or destruction of any other factors. That's when you know, like, yeah, I like that. I see a better future having interacted with such a person. Versus, oh man, this guy just taught me how to be a cunning, sly, swindling, selfish bastard. Like, you can tell. And if you can't tell, then I might have to make videos about that shit as well, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. Kind of. But we're all here to raise each other and grow. Well, at least that's what I believe. Because I believe we all have the capacity to be high vibrational. So in a sense, why not we all embody this high vibration already? And share goodness with everyone. No one needs to be left behind. Even if they are smelly. um, there will be tips and tricks of how they can alleviate such things as well. Or maybe we could all become high vibrational and eventually embrace the foul odors, which obviously are indicative of dirt or bacteria that isn't wanted in a nice, cleanly environment. But whatever. Acceptance isn't always that simple and bliss. You know, there's things that are definitely acceptable and validly acceptable, and things that are just plain ignorant. But we're not here to talk about that right now. We're here to move to another example. All right. A family member. Wait, let me go back to the other example. I want to go back to the second example of it. So the one who encourages other family members to grow their skills or change their environment, you can think of it like you got a cousin and they moved to a different city. Let's say they moved to, let's make up the city. They moved to, should I make one up or should I just name one? Sorry, but they moved to Canberra, and they learned some nicer ways to live in Canberra, or they learned some helpful things. Like everyone in Canberra, when they're using a sink to wash their hands or brush their teeth and all that, they turn the tap off. They turn the faucet off when they're not directly using the water. For example, they just put soap and they're lathering the soap in their hands. They turn that tap off while they're doing all that because they don't need to have the water running all the time. They do that. No one wastes water from the reservoirs in the city. It's mad. I hope my family can learn. I hope the family learns of this cousin, and we all know, like, hey man, like, you know, we don't have to have all this water running and being wasteful and all that. It's not completely wasteful, but it's just, it's thoughtful. It's thoughtful to just, why do we have to have it running constantly when we're not even using this water? It's like something like that. Versus versus the other cousin who also learned Canberra's hand washing, turn off the faucet technique, but they don't tell anyone, and they keep it secret so that everyone wastes water and loses more water and more money, but that they're still, you know, rich and they haven't wasted much. And yeah, because at the end of the day, it's about who's winning and who's not, right? That's what matters. The fact that I'm winning and I'm on top of you, and you're all too dumb to figure out how to be better. Even though I have the opportunity to show you all how you could be better, why should I? I need to make sure you're all below me. I need to make sure that I'm the top dog and I'm reaping all the benefits. Is that what it is to be low vibrational? It's also low vibrational just to be like, hey, I learned this thing, but I didn't think how it could help everyone. So it might not only be about just trying to be on top. It could be simple. You could be that cousin that, man, I know all these useful things, but it just, I saw Auntie leave the tap on while she went and checked her phone and I don't know, put soap on the dishes and all that shit. That I'm watching this, but I'm not connecting the dots and seeing in this situation, hey, this situation could be handled in a different manner that could be more constructive and beneficial for Auntie, for the household, for the city whose reservoirs of water, of cleanly water we are wasting. It didn't the dots didn't connect because you know what? I didn't care because I didn't care. Who cares? Oh, I didn't realize, but whatever. It's not like I care anyway. So yeah, that's another example of how you didn't have a high enough vibration. I think a good way to think about this high vibration, low vibration thing, it's not so much looking at examples of the low spectrum, of the low frequency. I think the main thing is just the example of what is high frequency, and everything else falls under, like, below the high frequency, because there are things that can be done better, and then there's just whatever happens after that. Did I explain that properly? Yeah. Because if we're too busy trying to find low vibration examples, just because you're not doing that specific low vibrational example, just because you're not doing that specific example doesn't mean you're high vibe. No. High vibe, that's a degree, that's a level to get to. And aim for those things. Don't aim to avoid the lower end. For example, I can't think of an example right now, but just don't aim for the lower end. Like, just because you're avoiding doing something that is seen as bad doesn't mean you're not bad. I know too many people out there, they're like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I didn't do a bad thing, so that means I'm a good person. You ain't done anything good. Just because you avoided doing something bad does not mean you're good. All right, don't get it twisted. That's not the way it works. Okay. All these people avoiding shit or not taking the risk, well, that they think they're good. No, you're not good, man. You're only good once you've accomplished good, or you're good when you're high vibrational, I should say. When you, even the little things that don't seem that great and dramatic and impactful, you don't have to do all that stuff to be high vibrational. And just avoiding the bad things doesn't mean you're high vibrational. You gotta embody that high frequency. You gotta spread that light and promote goodness. You don't have to, but that's a great way to be a more radiant spirit. When you want everyone and everything to grow and shine brighter. Just because you're avoiding the dark doesn't mean you're light. Oh, I didn't go into the shadows, therefore I'm a light person. That's not the way it works. Okay, anyway, yeah, I'll move into a new example. Or another example. So in terms of family members who excel, so this goes deeper into that last example. So let's talk about a family member who's excelled at something, whether they learned a new skill in a new city, or they're part of a new work environment or whatever. The high vibe person is one who has tried and considered raising other family members. But they've discovered that even if they tried to enlighten and raise the other family members, it hasn't worked because the way they try to raise the other family members is not in alignment with the other family members. It just doesn't work for them. And so this high vibe person just carries on knowing that they tried. knowing that they tried to at least teach grandma how to use her smartphone and telling her that, hey, you could download this app and make everything a million times easier rather than having to drive all the way down to the shops just to get something done. There's a way that you can learn to use the technology around you so that everything becomes much more convenient. You save time and effort, and you don't have to risk getting in the car and putting yourself in danger and such. I don't know if that's high vibe, but at least you tried to teach the family more helpful, convenient skills to give them the opportunity to better the lifestyle. But they didn't want to learn. But hey, at least you tried, and you're willing to remind them or help them whenever they ask how things can be done easier. You're still willing to help. Versus the low vibe who just carries on, and whether they taught anyone or not, they just carry on because they want to feel more superior. Like, oh, Granny, you're still wasting time going to the shops to do that. I get it all done on my laptop. Just a click of the button. Huh. You're so old-fashioned. Will you ever learn? That's one example. Or the one who knows, or for the other cousin who knows that Granny could have downloaded the app because they use the smart device, or they use a website to make everything much easier, but they're not bothering to tell Granny, or at least encourage or teach Granny or auntie, whoever we were talking about. They're not bothering to maybe help them find more convenience because they just don't care. Like, whatever. It's not my job to teach them. They didn't ask me, so I didn't care. What does it matter? It doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. But I don't know. Don't think you're high vibrational if you're like that. I mean, unless you're unaware, because you're naturally the type that raises others, that's different. See, just because I pointed an example of someone who didn't care and they didn't think to be helping, doesn't mean that's completely low vibrational, because sometimes we forget, like sometimes the high vibrational who are high vibrational by nature, they're naturally just light bringers. Sometimes they forget, or sometimes they are unaware of situations that they can help others. And then hopefully and luckily there's a little prompt that makes them, oh yeah, hey auntie, I just realized, yo, stop driving 20 minutes down to the shops to do this. I know how you can do this all on your laptop or on your smartphone. Trust me. I hope you do it the first few times, and then eventually, I hope you get the gist of it. Or if ever you're doing it, why don't you call me up and then I'll walk you through it, and we'll see how it goes. And remember, I finish work at 6:30, so I won't be home till about 7:30. So maybe I can help you do it around that time. All right, love you too. All right, bye. Yeah. So that's one example. What else do I have in my notes? So I wrote here. We're looking at these two ends of the spectrum in terms of your frequency, as having the capacities to raise others versus one who separates and isolates, who divides and conquers. Or just anyone who doesn't have the capacity or who doesn't wish to have the capacity to raise others. Because even the ambition and desire and aspiration to want to raise others is a step closer to raising that vibration. Just having the aspiration and plan, that's a step. Doesn't mean you're already elevating your vibration, because, you know, when you manifest something, just because you have the thought and the desire doesn't mean it's going to happen. Action is part of it manifesting into reality. Action is what allows something to happen. I didn't want to use the word manifest because now everyone's like, oh, spiritual shit, blah, blah, blah. All right, some spiritual advice from someone, from the self-proclaimed spiritual master, and also I've been noted as a spiritual guru by other people as well. But yeah, a bit of advice. Don't get too caught up in the word manifest and manifestations, all that shit. I think people taking that shit way too far. People, you're all getting too caught up in, oh, manifest this, manifest that, blah, blah, blah. Man, fuck your manifestations, all right? Yo, I know a whole bunch of people that talk about, oh, I'm manifesting this, I'm manifesting that, but they're not doing anything about whatever it is they're hoping for. They're just having hopes and they're not living their life in accordance to what this hope is. You can't hope to, oh man, I hope that I'm going to have better respiratory system while openly smoking and not bothering to do any exercises that increases your cardiovascular output, kind of. It's just, yo, relying and holding the term and word and the idea of manifestation in complete authority with not respecting what it involves, because you got to respect what it involves, and when you respect it, you will follow and embody what the simple idea of creation involves. Yes, creation is actually the other word for manifestation. They didn't tell you that. All these dumbass books that they try to sell and hype up and all that stuff, they didn't tell you that the other word for manifestation is just create. Oh shit, did I just enlighten a whole bunch of people? Because that's what it is, man. It's just creation. Like, if you didn't realize how simple of a thing it is, it's not some secret bullshit like that. If you have the intention, it's creation and the intention. But the intention requires the action, which is in total creation. But yeah, the spirit, for if you want to create something, or you want to live something, or if you want something, embody it, live it, create that world. Because the fish aren't gonna jump on your hook unless you actually cast that line. Anyway, I'm not even talking about, I'm not even supposed to talk about that crap. Sorry. Look, I've been having to talk and deal with a lot of people that don't want to take responsibility and claim that they're manifesting something, and yet not doing anything to embody what that manifestation involves. And it's a little bit frustrating. And I don't tell them, I point out to them, what would really help your manifestation come to life? If you start maybe, thinking about ways that you can better your life. Because as you start bettering your life, then these things that you hoped and desired for, I feel like there's a higher chance that those manifestations will manifest. Some of these people have found what's the right word? They found the courage to take responsibility and take action. Some others, I'm sorry, but when you find the courage to take responsibility, they haven't taken responsibility. I'm sure when they dwell on their manifestation long enough, they'll come to action. Life refusing to give them what they want will call them to action. So in the end of the day, the intentions of creations will eventually come, just not as soon as they hoped. So I talked about the capacity to raise others versus the capacity to isolate. This is why I knew that I was gonna get deep into talking about other topics, because in terms of the capacity to raise others versus one who isolates and separates, and these two things aren't what high vibe and low vibe is specifically. This is just ideas of these are just like concepts in mind that will help raise the vibration of the world and the entirety when everyone starts to understand this thing. So when I'm talking about in terms of raising others or isolating or separating, some good terms, at least the terms I found that are helpful, is expansion versus extortion. I'll say that again. Expansion versus extortion. Because expansion, in a sense, is about the growth, whether it's yourself, others, but it's everything expanding, growing. Versus extortion is when you have something and you get everything you can get out of it. And you keep getting all you can out of it. Because the difference here is in terms of expansion and extortion. Expansion, extortion is when you're concerned with expansion, you're concerned about the growth. So not only of, for example, the fruit tree, but growing more fruit trees. Versus extortion, you get this fruit tree and you're trying to make sure this fruit tree gets the most fruit you can, and you're just going to keep expecting this damn tree to get you more fruit, even if it can't anymore. Oh, you're not producing enough fruit? I better pump more fertilizer into you, or I better prune you more, or I better do more shit to you just so you can bear more fruit. Just plant more trees. Or encourage your neighbors to plant more trees, so you don't have to give out to your neighbors all the time, and they can have their own tree, and they can all encourage everyone else to have their own tree, and now all of a sudden everyone's got a tree, and it's no longer one person having to supply the neighborhood with peaches. But of course, everyone's got different priorities and shit. Even though after you've grown a fruit tree, you've gone through the first few years of growing a fruit tree, boom, there's not much you have to do with it after, because that child is ready to share its love. Anyway, yeah, expansion versus extortion. In terms of business and workers and organizations, we can think of the expansive business knowing that, hey, we've got more work and we want to have more shops, or we want to grow our business. Let's expand it in terms of, let's have the capability to do more with more. Not the capability to do more with what little I have. Not squeezing everything you can out of your workers. Oh, they'll have more hours, so they'll get more pay. But what of their well-being? What of their sleep? What of the time with family? What of the other things in life that are just as important as fulfilling your business's goal? Everyone has their own life. Everyone is better valuing and appreciating their own time, not just giving it to the organization that they work at. Because the growthful, higher vibrational, is that the right word to use? Organization will know, like, hey, let's give ourselves the opportunity to do more with more, or let's have more so we can do more, not let's do more and work ourselves to the bone because we'll get more profits for less costs. That's not how you grow. That's not how growth works. That's not growth. That's just extortion. That's not expansion. That's extortion. What did I write? Oh, so I went further in this expansion and extortion. Oh, I further explain the expansion growth idea, and then and the raising others and all that, and the we, and then I expanded it in terms of the me and the they. So there's the me, the they, and the best of both of them creates the we. So it's not about just yourself alone. It's not about just about others and not yourself. It's about the incorporation of both to create the we. And then so that's the expansion. The expansion is concerned with everyone growing. The me part, the myself, that's concerned. That's when you're only concerned about yourself and not about everyone. It's not so much about you might be concerned about the growth of yourself, but at the end of the day, that is ultimately only in terms of gain. Whereas when you're only concerned about everyone else and not about growing yourself, you're just giving. That's only giving. So there's gaining, giving, and then together is growth. I don't feel like I'm explaining this properly because I'm looking at my notes too much. But I wanted to talk about this in terms. What did I write in these notes, man? I don't even understand my own notes. Well, I do understand it, but I guess here I'm trying to talk about growth versus gaining. Growth versus gaining and gifting. For example, growth is about growing the plants. Gaining, or me, is about bearing fruit. And the gifting or giving is all about feeding others. What else did I write? And then I wrote, in terms of the growth is farm, concerned about the farm, or you're concerned about the harvest, or you're concerned about feeding everyone. Oh, I think because I'm trying to talk about whether you're high vibrational or not. The we, me, they. Some different terms I had written for the we, me. I mean, the we, me, or they. Some terms that I thought might be better were expansion, acquisition, or provision. Because if you're solely all about acquisition, it's very selfish and self-based. It's about acquisition for you. If you're only concerned about provision, it's only about everyone else, not enough of yourself. But when you have a good balance of acquisition and provision, that can only, or that will grow to expansion. It's a lot of like triangle Illuminati taking over my mind, soul, and my body bullshit happening right now. So acquisition, provision, expansion. Oof. I need to get back to this high vibration, low vibration shit. I mean, about raising vibration. I wrote another thing. I think this is supposed to be a separate example. In terms of, so being high vibrational, I'll explain this part first. Being high vibrational is understanding that growth can require a reset or restarting. When you have the power and the courage to embrace restarting and resetting, starting from scratch, starting at level 1 again, when you can embrace that, you can go to level like that. Going back to level 1 can be very important, especially in terms of growth. That's gonna really make a huge difference into how growthful you are. I was gonna say how high vibrational you are, but I don't think that's correct for me to say that. So let's just say, if you want to be growthful, which is quite high vibrational, it's not the main thing about being high vibrational, because love is the highest vibration. And for those who say authenticity was apparently higher than love, authenticity is love. It's love for yourself and love and acceptance for the whole world. It's the acceptance and love of everything. That is authenticity. And love is not desire. Real love is greater than that. Anyway, so if we want to be concerned with being more growthful, one of the important things is embracing the power of starting again from zero or from level one. Because that's how you can be growthful. Because if you don't have the courage, or at least the skill, the capacity to allow yourself to go back to level one again, you inhibit yourself from growth. Because, and one reason why we might be inhibiting ourselves from growth or stopping ourselves from starting from zero again is because we want to prolong this level and all the benefits at this level. We want to keep that alive. But even though we're here and we want to keep the benefits of this level alive, for example, what's a good example? Is that a good example? Oh, you know what? Let's just go with a simple example. All right, so I'm the coach of these 5 star basketball players. I'm the coach, and I got my 5 star basketball players. So you know what that means? Me being the coach and these 5 star players, we're the best team ever. But I'm only the coach of some under 18s, like under 18-year-old basketball players. I got asked to coach now for the NBA. Now I've been drafted to coach for the NBA. That's going to be hard because I got put on this team with all these dud players that don't listen to each other and all that shit. I like being known as the top best coach for the best team of under 18s. All the benefits here are cool. In my community, I'm a champion. But when I go to the NBA, I'm going to be the loser coach and I'm going to be all the way back at the bottom because I haven't got these 5, or I haven't got this team going well, and like I don't even know how well I'll do it. I'm not going to have the benefits of being up here anymore. I'm going to be back here because my team's not winning any championships. There's a potential for growth there, but unless you're willing to start from the start and let go of the benefits and stop trying to prolong the benefits, you inhibit your growth. I don't like that example. There's better examples. Did I write one example here? Oh my god, I wrote an example here in my notes. So, in terms of networking, yeah, you're like cool with all your good friends, you know, your small group of friends, you're all best friends, and like you're already well affiliated and you got a high affinity with all your close friends. But when you want to network, you got to get to know some new people. And when you start new relationships, you're starting from zero. And if you want to really build relationships with people, with new people, start from zero. Get to know them, allow them to get to know you, and build a relationship together. Because relationships is about building together. Versus you can be ungrowthful And when you're trying to network with other people, you be like, hey, this is me at this level. I do this. I make this amount of money. I do this amount of shit. This is me. Are you at my level or not? Oh, you're not at my level? Oh, you're below me? Oh, don't bother with me. Oh, you're up here? Oh, I don't know. Please, maybe I'll get to that level. When you become closed and you set these shitty ass boundaries, like, oh, hey, no, you got to reach my level before I'll even affiliate with you. You lose out on many relationships where you can just come back and start at zero and see what you can learn, see what you can develop, see what you can build with someone. Because they might not be there to help you grow your business, but they could be there to help you grow your life. Or you didn't realize that you've been wanting to be in a rock band this whole time, and because you didn't want to build that relationship with them, you didn't realize that they were looking for an extra musician in the band that you could have easily filled up, and all of a sudden you could have been a rock star. But no, because you just cared about, like, oh, he only makes $40,000 a year, I don't want to talk to him. Boy, you done fucked up. Growth is about coming back to level one and building with new people, with new connections. Because sometimes if you don't allow yourself to reset, how can you grow? Some of my students, the ones I coach, especially in terms of boxing, they'll remember how they used to think that they were the best and the strongest because they watched a lot of this and they practiced Mike Tyson's techniques and all that stuff. But when we got them to spar, they ain't shit. And it's not until they learn to let go of that stupid I'm the best ego and start trying to learn what I had to offer. And it's not until they decide, you know what, I should start level one. That's when they start to grow. And now they're slick as hell. But until they let go of that, either that I'm the strongest, just because I bench, 225, man, who gives a shit about what you bench, man? That doesn't mean you're a good dancer. That's definitely not gonna indicate any sort of advantage in your dance, unfortunately. But we got them to start using their whole body. When you start learning that, hey, your whole body's part of it. When you reset and you're willing to learn again, be a beginner again, that's when you can grow. That's a very spiritual thing. That's one of the best pieces of spiritual advice I can give you. You want to be growthful? Embrace becoming a beginner. Because being a beginner at anything is the most fun part, if anything. It's kind of like how all the modern day promiscuous dating is set upon. All this modern day dating, it's all focused on the beginning honeymoon phases of relationships. It's not about the actual real relationships or the true nature of relationships. It's all about the spark. It's all about lighting the fire. Even though the relationships, this whole entire other thing, no. People in dating now, they're not concerned with what a relationship is. A relationship is this commitment. It's this task. It's this contract. They're only concerned about pitching the contract. They're only concerned with the advertisements and pitching the contract, not the actual contract itself. And it's strange. But look, I didn't mean to get too deep into that, but I was trying to explain the start, the beginning, being a beginner, that's fun. But it feels the best once you fulfill the contract. Don't forget that. But in order to be able to fulfill any contract, you gotta go from the start. Or you gotta be willing to start from the start. So it's either you can be growthful by willing to be a beginner. You don't have to always be a beginner. Like I said, if you can start, or if you have the ability to allow yourself to start from the start, it will help you be growthful. I'm not saying you have to start from the start all the time, because many times it will be a waste of time starting from the start when you're already skilled enough to do certain things. For example, if you already have good hand-eye coordination, or if you've been doing kickboxing, if you've done, a few years of Muay Thai, do I really have to teach you how to jab cross? Come on, man. Like, I'm hoping that, that's already fluid in your movement. That jab cross 1-2, I hope that's already fluid in your movement. Like, I'm not going to worry too much about ingraining that into you. Maybe in terms of boxing or MMA, we might have to re-coordinate your footwork and the delivery a bit more, but you've already got that left-right mobility. You already got that left-right weight transfer within you already, because that's one of the most important part of things, transferring weight in terms of dancing. So you can be growthful by being able to allow yourself to start from the start, or you could just be those who try to prolong and extort whatever the hell they can, run something dry, which is not healthy. Because the way our machines were designed, they were designed to recover and replenish, to sleep, to rejuvenate. And many things in life, most things in terms of natural energy are best with rest and rejuvenation. That's one of the beauties of our designs, isn't it? The fact that we have systemized and coded into us the ability to recharge. That's so cool. It's part of longevity. Anyway, see, I didn't even get to the more examples with well-being and stuff. You know what? Whatever. I'm gonna do the examples of well-being for the next one. I did some examples today, didn't I? Yeah. But let's talk about examples in terms of keeping yourself in a good state of well-being for the next talk. Let's do it the next talk. Because I'm sure that one I'll have lots of actual examples and not just me talking about other things like growth and expansion and restarting relationships and shit. I should title this one accordingly to what it has for its content. Other than that, yeah, let's end it here. Tomorrow I'll give the examples. I'll give more examples tomorrow. Till then, take care, and yeah, remember to embrace the beauty of growth and stuff, and have fun with your creations, whatever it may be. Yeah. Okay, I should stop. Bye.